Hello student, welcome to the lecture on strategic management, and after this lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the meaning of strategic management, discuss the role of strategic management in business, define the 5 stages of the strategic management process, explain the strategic management aspect, understand the components of a strategy statement. Introduction. Now let us know more about strategic management. Let us see this video for understanding the topic.
Now most of us are familiar with Disney. We would have visited Disney's theme park in Florida, mostly Orlando. We would have taken the children. We would look forward every year to this exciting trip to see Mickey Mouse, etc., etc. So it has been a great company for many, many years and is one of the larger companies in the world. In 1984, Disney's stock price had been flat for a pretty long time. And what we mean by flat is basically the price is not moving, it is stable or probably declining. And the board now becomes very unhappy with that particular situation. So that the profit at that year was sort of disappointing at $242 million. And by this time, the company got most of its profits from the theme park. 70% of it came from the theme park, approximately 22% from consumer products like the Mickey Mouse. You know, you buy that key ring, you buy the brochure, you buy little toys for the children, etc., etc. And only 1% came from entertainment through films. And as you know, Disney at the point owned Paramount Studios and a number of other studios, because that is what they really use for their to make their pictures. So as a result, I mean, if your prices are not moving and your shareholders are not getting a good return, you would expect them to be dissatisfied. In 1971, when Roy Disney, the brother of Walt, died, the board decided that they had to do something. And what they did, as a result of the dissatisfaction and wanting the company to go into this different direction and also to generate a profit, they decided that it was now time to hire a new CEO, which is expected. And they wanted somebody who was known, who was dynamic, who had the level of leadership skills, competencies, knowledge of the entertainment business. And so they picked on that gentleman called Michael Eisner. So in 1984, he was hired, mainly, as I said, because of his extensive experience. Now, looking at the company then, as a result, he decided that, well, look, I mean, something has to happen. If your prices are low and if your profits are not where you want them to be, if the shareholders are unhappy, what do you do? Well, one of the things you do then is that you increase your prices. So they increase admission prices. They focus on the movie studios. You may recall that the movie studios were only generating 1% of the returns. And one has to recognize that people want to go to movies. In 1984, we did not have the cable. We did not have so many television picture stations to look at. So people went to the movies. So if people are going to go to the movies, what better thing to do than to target your movie audience and increase your prices? And they also use Mickey Mouse as a major drawing card. They also looked at diversifying, and in strategic management, when we speak of diversifying, we are thinking that you go into other businesses, and down the road we'll be looking at related diversification and unrelated diversification. So in related diversification, you want to go into the type of businesses that are closely related, because you have to look at the level of management competence, you have to look at the extent to which you have the manpower to look around. So at that point in time, the market capitalization was basically, as shown on your script, approximately $2 billion. And by 1994, 10 years after, it moved to a staggering 28 billion. That's basically, the market is saying now that that is the value of your business. And what do you account that? What is that account? What is that the result of? The result of that, the fact that you look at the organization, you restructure, you increase your prices, and you go into other areas.
Strategic management. The strategic management process is designed to deal with complexity and a dynamic environment, employing methods used to create knowledge, generate novelty, learn, access, design, plan, and transform, which can be understood. As knowledge creation, new knowledge or new meaning emerges from organization activities which, along with the organization structure and culture, contribute to the key factors determining the knowledge creation capabilities of an organization. Generate novelty. Novelty generation is essential to development of competitive advantage. It results from diversity in interactions in conversation with the resulting anxiety and tension, which prompts the thinking that brings out the new to the world ideas, that is novelty. Learning. It is the foundation for innovation and adaptation. Synthesis. It is a general method for dealing with wholes, understanding them, designing them, and turning the complexity of wholes into pragmatic understanding and insights to be acted upon to produce a competitive advantage. Pattern recognition. It deals with complexity, the dynamic interrelationship in the business world. It is more intuitive, a general skill to be developed with practice. Business design construct. This is based on the system science definition of the business organization as a complex social system and is the enabling light for inquiry to understand and design. Iterative inquiry. Coupled with the business design construct, the iterative inquiry deals with the complexity of understanding and design of the business organization. This uses a construct to guide development of understanding or design or a subject, especially the business organization. Affinitization. It is applicable in cases where creativity and exploration is needed to develop ideas, an inherently divergent process followed by convergent synthesis of new understanding or truth. Meaning of strategic management. Strategic management consists of the analysis, decision and action an organization undertakes in order to create and sustain competitive advantages. This definition captures two main elements that go to the heart of the field of strategic management. First, the strategic management of an organization entails three ongoing processes: analysis, decisions and actions. That is, strategic management is concerned with the analysis of strategic goals, vision, mission and strategic objectives, along with the analysis of the internal and external environment of the organization. Next, leaders must make strategic decisions. Strategic management process. The strategic management process means defining the organization strategy. It is also defined as the process by which managers make a choice of a set of strategies for the organization that will enable to achieve better performance. It is a continuous process that appraises the business and industry in which the organization is involved, appraises its competitors and fixes goals to meet all the present and future competitors, and then reassesses each strategy. Strategic management process has following 4 steps. Environmental scanning. It refers to a process of collecting, scrutinizing and providing information for strategic purposes. Strategy formulation. Strategy formulation is the process of deciding best course of action for accomplishing organizational objectives and hence achieving organizational purpose. After conducting environmental scanning, managers formulate corporate business and functional strategies. Strategy implementation. It implies making the strategy work as intended or putting the organization chosen strategy into action. It includes designing the organization structure, distributing resources, developing decision-making process, and managing human resources. Strategy evaluation. It is the final step of strategy management process. The key strategy evaluation activities are appraising internal and external factors that are the root of present strategies, measuring performance, and taking remedial correction actions. Key concepts for strategic management and organizational goals. Strategic management is the process in which an organization develops and implements plans that espouse the goals and objectives of that organization. The process of strategic management is a continuous one that changes as the organizational goals and objectives evolve. Several key concepts characterize strategic management and the development of organizational goals. Goal setting. At the core of the strategic management process is the creation of goals, a mission statement, values, and organizational objectives. Analysis, strategy formation. Analysis of an organization's strengths and weaknesses is a key concept of strategic management. Other than the internal analysis, an organization also undertakes external analysis of factors such as emerging technology and new competition. Strategy formation. Strategy formation is a concept that entails developing specific action that will enable an organization to meet its goal. It entails using the information from the analysis, prioritizing and making decisions on how to address key issues facing the organization. Strategy implementation. Strategy implementation is putting the actual strategy into practice to meet organizational goals. Strategy monitoring. A final concept is monitoring of the strategy after its implementation. Strategy monitoring entails evaluating the strategy to determine if it yields the anticipated result as exposed in the organizational goals. Advantage and disadvantage of strategic management. Advantage of strategic management. Sets the strategic direction to the firm. Focus on critical factors of the organization. Understanding the changing environment. Obtaining sustainable competitive advantage. Lead to better performance, ensure the long-term survival in the marketplace, simplifies complex scenarios and develops suitable strategies. Disadvantage of strategic management. Unanticipated result, lack of short-term result, poor adaptability, difficulty. Role of strategic management, role of strategic management in business. Strategic management involves planning business strategy for the entire organization and aligning daily operational decisions with that strategy. A strategy needs clear definition, which means the strategic management process must involve the collaboration of managers and other employees throughout the organization. The market position strategic management is designed to help business leaders move the organization into a competitive position in the business market. Getting into position. In business planning, once the desired position is defined, manager must write a set of central goals for getting there. This involves considering all of the resources of the company, such as employees, technology, and business knowledge, and how best to organize them into business processes. Improving the position. Strategic management requires ongoing commitment from the management team. Once a desired position in the market is reached, a company must consolidate its position or sustain and improve it through new strategic goals. Resource allocation. As a company uses strategic management planning to consolidate its market position and increases its competitive advantage. Reason for strategic management. Strategic management is used by successful firms, taught in leading business schools, and is practiced by thousands of strategy consultants. Providing direction. A reason for using strategic management is to provide a clear direction for the firm. An important component of strategic management is selecting goals to achieve. This allows a firm to be progressive and work toward its goal. Enhancing performance. Strategic management is capable of increasing firm performance This includes both the firm's financial and non-financial performance. Measuring progress. Strategic management is effective in measuring a firm's progress. A common method for measuring progress is through a gap analysis, which measures the gap between a firm goal and its actual achievements. Structuring decision making. An important reason for using strategic management is that it offers a framework for making decisions within an organization. Strategic management formalizes the decision-making process, making it possible for an organization to make consistent decisions across multiple departments and levels of the firm hierarchy. Strategic decision. Strategic decisions are the decisions that are concerned with the whole environment in which the firm operates, the entire resources, and the people who form the company and the interface between the two. Characteristic or features of strategic decision. Strategic decisions have major resource proposition for an organization. Strategic decisions deal with harmonizing organizational resource capabilities with the threats and opportunities. Strategic decisions deal with a range of organizational activities. Strategic decisions involve a change of major kinds since an organization operates in ever-changing environment. Strategic decisions are complex in nature. Strategic decisions are at the topmost level, are uncertain as they deal with the future and involve a lot of risk. Strategic decisions are different from administrative and operational decisions. The 5 stages of the strategic management process. The strategic management process is more than just a set of rules to follow. It is a philosophical approach to business. Upper management must think strategically first, then apply that thought to a process. The strategic management process is best implemented when everyone within the business understands the strategy. The 5 stages of the process are goal setting, analysis, strategy formation, strategy implementation, and strategy monitoring. Goal setting. The purpose of goal setting is to clarify the vision for our business. This stage consists of identifying 3 key facets. First, define both short and long-term objective. Second, identify the process of how to accomplish our objective. Finally, customize the process for our staff. Give each person a task with which he can succeed. Analysis. Analysis is a key stage because the information gained in this stage will shape the next 2 stages. In this stage, gather as much information and data relevant to accomplishing our vision. Strategy formulation. The first step in forming a strategy is to review the information gleaned from completing the analysis. Determine what resources the business currently has that can help reach the defined goals and objectives. Strategy implementation. Successful strategy implementation is critical to the success of the business venture. This is the action stage of the strategic management process. Evaluation and control. Strategy evaluation and control actions include performance measurements, consistent review of internal and external issues, and making corrective actions when necessary. Strategic management aspect. The aspects or types of activities of the strategic management process are by necessarily represented linearly. Strategy formation. Generating wisdom. The primary outputs of these activities do the current state and projected business models, a problem and opportunity definition, impetus to change, contextual understand for idealized design and insight. Creating art. The primary outputs of these activities are first novelty and eventually definition of transformational opportunities for the business organization, hypothesis to test innovation requirements, and direction setting plans. Strategy execution. The primary outputs of these activities are the plans for deployment, the organizational resource alignment mechanism and control system, and learning process. Strategic management. A virtuous cycle of activities. The strategic management process continually builds the capabilities of the members of the organization and the business organization competencies. the disciplined execution brings increasingly returns to the business due to the increasing returns to knowledge. All of the stages together produce increasingly capable organization members and a more competent and competitive business organization. Strategic management, a self-improving process. The strategic management process properly developed is a self-improving process. From a systematic process perspective then, it is a double loop learning process where the first loop processes the feedback from the decision made and action take to continually test and improve decision. The second loop tests the mental models deployed in the decision making process. From a responsive processes perspective, the generation of novel processes comes from the communicative interaction itself, complex responsive processes at work in the organization. Strategic management, a decision making process. Being a self-improving process, strategic management improves with disciplined attention to the development of the right activities or processes and their disciplined execution. It improves along two dimensions, improving the effectiveness of the use of the current decision criteria and by improving the decision mechanism, criteria and mental models as the environment of the business organization changes. First is the recording of the decision factors, criteria, assumption and process use, reasoning and expected result. When the performance results start coming in, a comparison is made between the observed performance and the expectation and assumption. Based on this analysis, improvements to the decision making are made, whether this means gathering better information, developing better assumption, improving the decision process itself, or even challenging the existing mental models used to make decision. Components of a strategy statement. The strategy statement of a firm sets the firm's long-term strategic direction and broad policy direction. It gives the firm a clear sense of direction and a blueprint for the firm's activities for the upcoming years. The main constituents of a strategic statement are as follows. Strategic intent. An organization's strategic intent is the purpose that it exists and why it will continue to exist, providing it maintains a competitive advantage. Mission statement. Mission statement is the statement of the role by which an organization intends to serve its stakeholders. It describes why an organization is operating and thus provides a framework within which strategies are formulated. Features of a mission. Mission must be feasible and attainable. It should be possible to achieve it. Mission should be clear enough so that any action can be taken. It should be inspiring for the management, staff and society at large. It should be prescribed enough, that is, it should be neither too broad nor too narrow. It should be unique and distinctive to leave an impact in everyone's mind. It should be analytical, that is, it should analyze the key components of the strategy. It should be credible, that is, all stakeholders should be able to believe it. Vision. A vision statement identifies where the organization wants or intends to be in future or where it should be to best meet the needs of the stakeholders. It describes dreams and aspiration for future. It contributes in effective decision making as well as effective business planning. An effective vision statement must have following features. It must be unambiguous, it must be clear, it must harmonize with organization culture and values. The dreams and aspiration must be rational or realistic. Vision statements should be shorter so that they are easier to memorize. Goals and objectives. A goal is a desired future state or objective that an organization tries to achieve. Goals specify in particular what must be done if an organization is to attain mission or vision. Well-made goals have following features. These are precise and measurable. These look after critical and significant issues. These are realistic and challenging. These must be achieved within a specific time frame. These include both financial as well as non-financial components. Effective objectives have following features. These are not single for an organization but multiple. Objectives should be both short-term as well as long-term. Objectives must respond and react to changes in environment, that is, they must be flexible. These must be feasible, realistic and operational. Steps in strategy formulation process. Strategy formulation refers to the process of choosing the most appropriate course of action for the realization of organization goals and objectives and thereby achieving the organizational vision. The process of strategy formulation basically involves 6 main steps. Setting organization's objectives. The key component of any strategy statement is to set the long-term objective of the organization. Once the objectives and the factors influencing strategic decision have been determined, it is easy to take strategic decisions. Evaluating the organizational environment. The next step is to evaluate the general economic and industrial environment in which the organization operates. This includes a review organization competitive position, setting quantitative targets. In this step, an organization must practically fix the quantitative target values for some of the organizational objectives. The idea behind this is to compare with long-term customer so as to evaluate the contributions that might be made by various product zone or operating departments. Aiming in context with the divisional plans. In this step, the contribution made by each department or division or product category within the organization are identified and accordingly strategic planning is done for each subunit. Performance analysis. Performance analysis includes discovering and analyzing the gap between the plan or desired performance. A critical evaluation of the organization, past performance, present condition, and the desired future condition must be done by the organization. Choice of strategy. This is the ultimate step in strategy formulation. The best course of action is actually chosen after considering organizational goals, organizational strength, potential and limitation, as well as the external opportunities. Summary. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. The systematic analysis of the factors associated with customers and competitors, the external environment and the organization itself, the internal environment, to provide the basic for maintaining optimum management practices. The objective of strategic management to achieve better alignment of corporate policies and strategic priorities. The strategic management process means defining the organization strategy. It is also defined as a process by which managers make a choice of a set of strategies for the organization that will enable it to achieve better performance. Strategic management is defined as a set of decisions and action resulting in formulation and implementation of strategies designed to achieve the objectives of an organization. The strategic management process described herein does not fit the notion of a linear process and strategy as a project or an event. It refers to a set of strategic management activities that are simultaneously distinctly separate and interdependent. Collectively, these activities, when exercised with discipline and managed with wisdom, produce a competitive advantage. Vision statement identifies where the organization wants or intends to be in future or where it should be to best meet the needs of the stakeholders. Performance analysis includes discovering and analyzing the gap between the plan or desired performance.